Dean, this yesterday was a wonderful holiday, one of the best holidays of them all. And I'm curious. Well, I'm sorry. I guess any holiday around this time is great. I want to be very inclusive here. But did you have any holiday gifts that like really surprised you? How much you like them?
I was actually sick yesterday, so I didn't leave my house.
Well, Hanukkah is like it's like 8 days,
Okay,
7 or 8 days. I believe
they're
it might be
bad
nights as
present.
well. I'm not quite sure
No, I'm
how that
not.
works. I think there's several gifts I think you should get.
Yeah, I
In fact, let
don't
me look it up real
celebrate
quick.
Hanukkah. I think we've been over
Let's
this.
see. Well, so you got nothing then, which is
Uh,
appropriate because last week you said you were buying nothing, so you got nothing. So I believe they call that
I
reaping
didn't
what you
see
sow.
anybody yesterday because I didn't leave my house. I was sick.
Yeah, but you weren't planning on giving gifts if you even had seen them, right?
That's not true.
Okay. So you got my gift?
Oh no, I'm not getting you shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm making sure we're on the same page. I was not going to get you anything either.
Yeah, no.
Might have to send something back to Amazon, but yeah, no, I wasn't getting you anything either.
Wow.
Marco, what about you? Was there a gift that you got that you were like, wow, this is way cooler than I thought it would be?
First of all, shit, we're live. I was about to talk some shit, but I'll save that for backstage. These days, gifts that you thought as a kid you didn't want, like socks, those actually hit the most.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
the
three
socks that
pairs
I
of
got were-
socks. I got more Hot Toys than I have socks.
Oh, other way around.
That's not saying
Well,
much.
I was about to say, you only have two socks?
Yeah, man, the socks. Yeah, so honestly, the socks that my parents got me it was the best gift that I got, and yeah, hopefully some underwear next year. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Next year.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, so I this was made for me this year, which was really cool. I was conditioned at first that I was getting a gift that didn't cost any money. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
But then, so
What is that?
this is a comic book cover. So you will notice this is actually me on the front of this picture. And this is my apartment. This is actually the cat basket where my cat sleeps, Alfie. Now, the cool thing about this is I swear to God, every day I wake up and there's these little dusty cat footprints through my apartment. And every day I'm like, what the hell? Where are these things coming from? Like, this is 99% dust-free litter. Like, how does this happen? Right? So my friend thought that was hilarious, and she turned me into a detective comic where I'm actually seeing these little ash footprints across the floor, and Alfie with a little mask up on top being like, ha ha ha, human will never be able to figure it out. So not only does it memorialize the apartment that I now currently live in, my little bachelor pad, which I thought was a really cool
What does it say
gift.
there on the little bubble on the bottom right? What does that say?
So the bottom bottle, it says, it's mischievous against wits with the Ben Thomas at Patience at Risk. And then at the top it says, how does this even happen? Every morning you wake up yet to another surprise, but are mystified as its origin. Nothing makes sense. And again, you've got the cat there with a little bandit mask on.
Now she drew this on paper, or what is this?
So she actually
made it.
So she took a photo of me in this outfit and wouldn't tell me why I had to be like dressed up with a magnifying glass, looking all serious. And at first I was like, maybe she's making me like a Let's Get Nuts new sticker or like a Ben Thomas show sticker. Couldn't
Thought it was
figure
a
out why
role play thing. He was like, "What the?"
thought it was a role play thing. No, I
like, why are
couldn't
my
figure
nuts
out
out? It's
why
gotta be
I
Let's Get
needed to
Nuts.
do this specifically.
Jesus Christ!
But yeah, and then I call him Bud, right? He's my little Bud, so it's the Bud Comics up at the top here. Bud Comics.
I thought that was a weed
real
thing.
cool little-
To be
Yeah, me
honest.
too.
But it's a Bud Comics. I thought because you're a stoner.
That would also make sense, to be honest. So
Wow.
super random gift, but loved the thought and attention there. That was really cool. So
Wow, it's hard to top that. I got a holy fuck. So on Sideshow, they do this thing where you can put a wish list item, and completely unrelated to this gift that I got. I obviously didn't get it from their contest, but I thought I'd be cheeky, like, oh, what if I win? Holy fuck, they've emailed me every day, twice a day, that I should buy this item. It's like, bro, it's a wish list, bro. I'm wishing for this. As if, like, I'm not going to buy it for myself. And so it's the Marvel Anatomy, and I started reading it today, and it's really cool. It's, I guess, like, the setup for the book is Black Panther. They killed the Skrull, and they want to get, like, a record of all the heroes and their powers and how they work, so that if a Skrull I guess like becomes a superhero, they'll know like what the difference is between the actual hero and the scroll. I don't know what the fuck that any of that means. It's just the first few pages, but it's pretty cool. I've only gotten to the first like maybe chapter, so probably about 5 or 6 euros, and definitely a neat little book. And it's kind of a last minute gift, and it's something that I'm really excited to dig into. But yeah, so
Heck
there's
yeah, dude.
that. Not as cool as Ben's gift, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there. We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Shall we lock in the artillery power?
This is the true form of floor gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank everyone out there for watching. Happy holidays. It's been a crazy year in collecting. Big shout out to you guys wherever you're catching us, and shout out to Collector Zone for our affiliate program that we got going. Zach will mention that later.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think, if mine own memory serves me correct, Dean, I don't think we missed a single show this year. We almost did on August 1st, but you guys pulled through. A little bit of tragedy, but I genuinely we were gonna miss this show, but I don't think that we missed one. It's very impressive.
Yeah, I think we've done a
Very
whole.
impressive.
Yeah.
How many weeks are there? 50,
This is the last show of the year.
7,
Yeah.
52. Yeah, something like that. Yes, it is the last show of the year, and we got a bunch of angels in the chat. We got let's see, Danielle, Toy Mafia, Sam Gist, Tim Harvey. Tim Harvey. Welcome, Zach and C. Crew. I hope you had a great Christmas, and glad everyone made it this far. Let's go. Sean Forrester, Ben Thomas, King Dingaling, Absolute Erwin, Badfish, Alvin J. Let's see here, Jose G. Hernandez, 14 Wellington. Hi, I'm sick with laryngitis. My wife got sick yesterday, and I feel like I'm coming down with something. It's not fun.
Feel better, buddy.
Laryngitis.
We might not be here very long tonight. Tariq the Geek, Gilbert Almazan, Sam Giss, CT603. Happy holidays, guys, and thank you for another year of solid content. Jason Nelson, what a guy. What a guy. Love that guy. We got Chris, Big Ol' Fern, Equan, the Year of the Joker, Dean's favorite, Jazzy, Carlito, Yomo. Bunch of angels in the chat. We don't have a lot to talk about today. Like I mentioned, this may be a short show, but Dean, regardless of the length of the show, we start on all of our shows with our very best segment first.
Huge
Yeah. Oh, wow. I did that early.
Wait,
You guys
what?
ready? I said yeah too early.
Wow.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Are you ready, Dean?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready, Marco?
Yeah.
It's new this week.
Yeah. Okay. What you getting this week? So much to Marco's surprise.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Here we go. Wait. So I was gonna open up a lozenge.
You can't keep getting away with it.
Yeah. I got some more Sonic figures in the mail. Or not in the mail, but Rainer
son
picked
of
these
a
up for
bitch.
me.
This is Ben Thomas's favorite one on the left too.
Dr.
Wow. He has his nickname.
Which kind of looks like Ben Thomas.
That's right.
He's
Jesus.
yeah, so this is for the third wave of the Sonic Prime 5-inch scale figures. Dr. Deep, which is a variant Eggman Black Rose, which is a variant Amy, and a Chaos Sonic, which is a variant Metal Sonic. So very cool. The Chaos Sonic is badass. I want to get a second one, just so I can pose it up and keep it on my desk because it's fucking sweet. Metal Sonic is like my favorite character design, like almost of all times. Metal Sonic is so cool. This is like the newest, like other version of Metal Sonic. There's been a few over the years, so this is really cool. I don't like it as much, but it's pretty close. Yeah, so this wave just came out. God, I want to say last week. It started hitting the shelves, so Rainer was nice enough to pick those up for me. Lucky enough also to find them in stock. So
yeah, lucky.
Yeah. Well, he hits the targets pretty much right when they open, so he's usually first in line for anything. So whenever I start seeing them pop up on the web on like Mercari and stuff, because people find these things and scalp them, because they're only like $15 retail, but they turn around and sell them for like $50-$60 when they first hit. And people buy them, and I'm like, fuck that. So as soon as I see them pop up on Mercari, I'll message Zach and be like, yo, keep an eye out for these. And he found them. So there is one more figure in the wave, but it's just another version of Sonic that I don't need. So
yeah, you wouldn't need another version of Sonic, right, Dean?
Yeah.
You might as well just get it.
Well, in the show, there's only one Sonic, right? And he travels in dimension or like timelines. Dimensions, and only his shoes and gloves change. So I don't feel like I have to get every single version of Sonic. So
yeah, good thing you're showing some restraint on this. So
Jesus Christ,
you're a bad person.
How dare us?
Well, yeah, that's my new this week.
Look at this, Marco. What'd you get?
Speaking of restraint, so the Iron Man Mark III, which is one that I had my eye on for a bit, but I wanted that exclusive one from Sideshow that comes with the crumpled helmet, but I couldn't justify paying an Iron Man figure plus tax plus shipping when all of these go on discount. So I was like, I could just get the regular version. So was able to snag the regular version with a pretty nice discount. One came available, and then the Batcycle, which I don't know when I'll get the Batman. Hopefully it is before the Chinese New Year or the Lunar New Year. But yeah, this Batcycle, I haven't opened the Batcycle up yet, but very excited to do so because everything that I've seen, it looks pretty badass, honestly. Now, I know it's not the drifter version of the cycle that Zach would have preferred, but I think it's going to be a cool addition when that Batman and the Bat Signal finally come again, which is hopefully sooner rather than later. So yeah, pretty good little Christmas haul for me here.
Was this the pack? Which one of these was the package that Gigi did? The Will Talk Instagram.
That was the Iron Man Mark III.
Bro,
you know
I
how
was
she
scared
feels.
for your fucking life, bro. I was like, holy gee,
Yeah.
Marco, if you need a couch to sleep on, bro, like, you just let me know.
It was a scary moment there because you know how she feels about duplicates of figures. Even though I'm paying my tax, she's still not buying it. So yeah, the fact that she saw it, because I was really hoping to get it, unbox it, put it in the collection. The old I've had that one line. She would be none the wiser, but I got caught trying to do some tax evasion here.
Wow, you hate to see it. Just like Fern knows, it's a tax evasion is a tough business. America, don't ever let you forget it.
Keep you in fear.
Gosh. Let's see. Ben, you had quite the new this week.
Yeah, I went a little crazy the last month because I've been working really hard selling all these paint jobs, and I finally got to see the fruit of my hard work start sliding in. And
so you're selling paint jobs? I thought you were other jobs you were selling.
Paint jobs. Yeah, paint. Yeah, specifically. Yeah, but
no. Pea jobs. I heard something else.
That's right. So for me, you guys know at the beginning of this year, I had the DeLorean on order. Went through some kind of tough lifetimes, canceled it because I was like, you know what, that $800 US might go a long way for me in the bank account if I need it, right? Emergency funds. Was able to get back on my feet pretty well. Marco, the enabler, slides me a little, slides into my DMs last week. He says, hey, just so you know, the DeLorean has gone blue screen on Sideshow. So if you wanted to buy it, you may miss your opportunity. I immediately, of course, bought it. And I do not regret it. Although I don't have a good display space for it. So it's literally on the desk like this picture right beside me right now. It's so beautiful, guys. Like, it's so nice, but it's my first 6-scale vehicle. I absolutely loved it. I've got a kind of a fun unboxing planned for it, so stay tuned for that over on my show, but really, really loved it. These are pretty amateur photos that I took, just real quick snaps of it, and even still, I think it displays the beauty of this collectible. So this is definitely a highlight for me of 2023, for sure. And then what's next there, Zach? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just quickly. I think it's a fitting end cap for you for 2023. Obviously, you had some ups, you had some downs, ended on an up. I think it's a good purchase. I'm glad that you were able to get it before it sold out. So
my life literally went from 6 to midnight. That's for sure. One would say. Wow. Yeah.
I know that's not what you meant it to be, but it was.
Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it is. Don't worry about
maybe
it.
Maybe it is.
Okay.
Think about it.
I also got these in the collection, so I literally just pulled these out of the shipper boxes so I could show you guys today. These are some Christmas presents, kind of to myself. I did a video last week on the Kenobi Vader versus the Return of the Jedi Vader. And then I immediately went out and bought the Empire Strikes Back Vader.
Did you call him Vader? Did anyone else hear a weird?
It's kind of like
he
that.
Said Vady. I thought I wasn't gonna say nothing. I wasn't gonna say nothing though.
We don't need to rewind it back. I guarantee it said Vader. However, this is a pretty cool Vader. Now Zach was right. I will give him. Zach likes hearing this. Let's give him some credit.
What a
he
great
did
year.
tell me the helmet on the Vader is a little like elongated, which I now can't unsee, unfortunately, which is the worst thing. However, it's a really cool Vader. The display base it comes with, I'm really excited to display that guy. And I really liked Loki Season 2. I had a really fun time with that show. The amount of accessories that come with this Loki are insane, so I'm excited to dive into those a little bit more. But for the first little while, it was actually Classy Thomas. So shout out to SpongeBob SquareBalls Classy Thomas, who sent me his second Loki that he'd purchased. Perfect condition. One of the best wrap jobs I've ever seen of any collectible sent to me. He even put like corner guards on the box to make sure that it didn't get dented. So huge shout out to Classy Thomas for the good shipping. Way better than Zach's Wonderland, and probably a little bit faster
What the
as
fuck?
well. I'm just
Wow.
There was a.
You know what?
How? I'm not sending Ben shit ever again.
There was a Let's Get Nuts tree ornament in there, though, as well, from Zach's Wonderland, where credit is due, and that was also pretty cool. So I should have included that in the display.
I'm looking forward to putting up my ornament sometime in
When you
2024.
eventually get it in 2025. Yeah, 2025. But yes, great haul there. And then lastly, shout out to Calvin, aka the Low-Key Collector. He hooked me up with the link for this seller on eBay for a pair of adamantium bloody claws for my Wolverine Days of Future Past that's coming. Now I get it. He's supposed to have bone claws. Totally get it. But I still wanted to have the option to put some adamantium on him if I wanted. And these claws did not disappoint. The hair on the top of the hand is so cool looking. It's so detailed. One thing I didn't actually notice, though, until I took high resolution of pictures and sent them to you guys, was the slight seam on the top. Don't notice it in person. You can notice it a little bit in the picture. But either way, like even the blood staining on the blades was really, really cool. So if anybody wants to know what eBay seller I got this from, he was well rated. He got this to me within about a week and a half, faster than Sideshow's been able to get me my actual Wolverine. So definitely cool. I think it was $15 American. They were really cheap. And
was
they're
it Simple Happy Life on eBay?
I don't remember offhand now. I can let you guys know. So if you guys are interested, send me a message on Instagram or on YouTube, and I'll send you guys the link. But yeah, shout out to Calvin for pointing me in the right direction. They're very, very cool.
Die-cast claws, or are they plastic?
They're called metal claws in the description, so I want to call them die-cast, but I wouldn't go as far as that. They are heavy, but they don't feel so heavy that, like, I don't know. They don't feel like a heavy die-cast material necessarily. Metal casing maybe, or kind of overlay. So yeah, really nice.
Wow, just like the real claws. Let's see here. Eddie said he couldn't be here, and okay, my photo. I didn't really take any photos of anything, but let me tell you this, guys. Hers baby back rib chips. All right, we were at the dollar store on Christmas Eve, and there was a billion people in line, and I was like, okay, baby back rib chips. There's no way, right? I've tried the Lay's, right, the exotic flavors, and they never live up, right? They never live up to what they say they are. But let me tell you this: you go to the Dollar Tree, you get these chips. If they don't taste like baby back ribs, you can unsubscribe from this channel because these things were fucking bussin', and I had to tell you guys about them. So, yeah, they were fucking delicious.
Ben, do they have Hearst chips in Canada? Because they don't have them here on the West Coast, I don't believe.
No,
I never heard of this brand.
Yeah, I know of this brand because of The Office. I think that one of the episodes they're looking for
Pam.
Hearst chips, right?
Oh, wow.
Not Pam
okay,
though. It was what's his second boo?
Karen Filippelli.
Yeah, Ann Perkins. There you go, Karen.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, these are fucking incredible. So if you guys
I don't trust anything from the dollar store, though. I got some chocolate from the dollar store the other day, and I swear to God, I had to actually throw it in the garbage. It was the worst tasting chocolate I've ever had. It was those little like Christmas chocolate balls, you know, the classic ones. Yeah, no,
Jesus,
horrible. Horrible.
Look, I'll tell you what, get this. If you don't
Chocolate
like it,
salty
unsubscribe.
balls.
And
They
it's
weren't
gluten
salty,
free.
but they were
Gluten,
definitely
I don't know how they
gross.
do it. Tastes like I was eating a
It's
goddamn rib.
gluten-free.
Tastes like I was eating a goddamn rib. Let's see here. So, Hot Toys Hobo Goblin, I think is what we called it. The Green Goblin upgrade suit was released. I don't know that they've improved the articulation. I know Nick from Nick's Collectibles had basically had to like fully mod the figure, and other people have as well, just to get that classic glider pose. Seeing that they don't even have it in the blogger photos, I don't feel like they haven't fixed it. But the portrait looks excellent. I think it looks pretty good. What do you think, dude?
Yeah, I mean, Willem Dafoe is a very specific looking man. And I think they nailed that portrait, which is saying a lot because expressive portraits historically for Hot Toys have not been the best. This needed to look phenomenal, and I think they did it. The figure itself, you know, not really kind of my cup of tea. You know, when I think of Goblin, especially Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, I think of the mask, right?
Really?
I know he's not
Goblin something else.
Goblin is nuts.
I know he's not supposed to have it with this in this movie because he like breaks it immediately, but it would have been nice to at least include it. But you know, I think all in all, I think it's a pretty solid figure. I think if you get this, you're gonna be happy. And if you're on the fence, I would say go ahead and pick it up because I think it's probably one of the stronger portraits they've ever done. I like it.
Now, Dean, do you wish that they had done a different portrait for the Hobo Goblin versus the other one, though? Because, like, for me, if you already got the Goblin, like the green one, you got the same head sculpt twice.
That's true.
Right. Which, for me, was a bit of a downfall here. Now, I would say, like, I didn't always totally believe the other Goblin figure was going to come with this head sculpt because they'd had it blurred out at one point, and then kind of like they'd done with Mysterio at one point, they kind of removed it and then they added it back. Whereas the Hobo Goblin showed this head sculpt right from the get-go. The wins there, though, here are clearly the teeth. Because this doesn't have that weird, like, smiling Ant-Man teeth mouthpiece thing that guy had. This actually looks like real teeth, which are amazing. The soft touch material here is beautiful. I've also seen that if you end up having both figures, you can put the helmeted version, like the helmet, on this figure. So you could kind of like hybrid this character a little bit in the display, which I think is really, really cool, especially if you like that purple, I don't know, hood or tunic, I guess you call it. But for me, I didn't get this one because I've got the other Green Goblin coming to the collection next week, which for me, that harkens back to that, you know, Tobey Maguire 2000 film. I love that movie from when I was a kid. That's the one that I would really want to display. Plus, I'm really hoping my Tobey Maguire comes like any day now in 2024. So cross your fingers there. But this one I skipped on, despite it being pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I'm still undecided with the Goblin, honestly. Now I have all the other villains from this line, and I end up getting Toby and Andrew and the suit from the end. So I went way deeper down this line than I ever intended to. But the Goblin figure was always one that gave me a bit of heartburn because the one that's all green, it looks cool, but it just has no contrast, and I'm just not quite sure. I almost need to see it in person to know how it translates as a figure because the pictures that I've seen have not sold me. So I kind of always thought I'd go with this version, but I don't know that I necessarily love this version either. Like, yes, he had some really devastating moments from this, this iteration of the villain, but with the hood on looks looks kind of silly with the hood off. Perhaps could pass really well. It does come with the glider, but I still don't know where I'm going to get it from, which version I'm going to get. So it's kind of a head scratcher for me. But all that being said, yeah, it looks pretty decent overall, but I still need to see more before I can decide if this is the version I'm picking up.
There you go. We also have Wrecker. Oh, sorry, Ben.
No, I just said, heck yeah, buddy. What is Marco looking at, by the way? Does anybody else... If you're on an 80-inch TV, Marco, it looks like you're looking at something weird. What are you looking
I'm
at?
just looking down at my computer right now.
Oh, I see.
The webcam is up here, and then I'm looking down at my computer over here.
I hate to see it.
But
wow.
Okay.
I got the new AI. Makes your eyes change levels. We don't want that kind of tech here, Ben.
Hate to see
someday.
Marco's just going to be looking at what you're doing all day.
That's right.
Ricka, I'll be honest. This might be the first miss for me, to be honest. His head is way too small. In the show, he's got a head like me. He's got a big ass head. And it just doesn't look right. I think the armor looks good. I think the helmet looks great. I had the the Hunter and the Echo, sold them recently. I realized, and this is something that Dina told me, like, I have a great Black Series. They're all weathered up. They look fantastic. They look, I think at the time when I had them and when I ordered Hunter and Wrecker, I didn't know they were going to do the full line. But even knowing that now, I think I made the right decision. I don't think this is amazing. I think it looks pretty good. I don't think it's as good as Crosshair or Echo or Hunter. But for the people that have the line, I think this is great that they've done it. But this one I think is a little bit of a miss to me on the portrait. I think he looks like really baby faced, and I just think the head needs to be bigger, and I don't love it. So
yeah, this one is it almost it almost makes me glad I didn't get the other ones, because now I don't feel like I'm not compelled to like finish the line if this is not as good as it is.
That's George W. Bush right there.
I mean, other than the head being entirely too small, the whole figure just looks entirely undersized. I mean, he is huge. He's like a tank, big, broad shoulders, huge chest. Like, he's supposed to be like hulking, and like this just looks like it's like, make the armor kind of big and throw some ankle extenders on it and call it a day. Wrecker should really have been like a completely new body and technology.
How much bigger would you say he is than the other troopers in the Bad Batch?
So according to Sideshow, this is 12.2 inches tall. He should be like 15.
Okay, so he is a bit under.
He should be fucking huge.
I had 13 inch on my screen here. Just to double check.
I believe you're actually correct. I remember when this one came out, I think 12.2, and then they upgraded it. But let me pull up. Which one do you have it on?
I'm right up on Sideshow here. I had it double check. Product size 13 inch, 33 centimeters.
Maybe it's hang on. You're probably right. Yeah, on mine it does say that, but it also says 12.2 on this graphic here. But
maybe they didn't update the graphic.
Yeah, let me show you. Like, Wrecker is huge in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just... I think Dean is 100% correct. I think they may not have done this one justice. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, literally exactly the same sentiments. When I watched the first season, Wrecker was actually one of my favorite characters because I felt like he was a bit of the comic relief character. He made me laugh the most. He kind of warmed me up to the Bad Batch a little bit more because I wasn't very familiar with them. And I gotta say, like, I expected him to be much larger than the other characters, especially when we saw them on display with some of the Sideshow preview videos, or pictures, I should say, that we saw earlier in the week with him up there. Like, I thought he would be bigger, but at the same time, I think it's still a really cool character. I'm still happy that we're at least looking like we're going to get a full team from Hot Toys, which sometimes we really have to push for as collectors, it seems like. This one, it does seem like they're slowly going to give them all to us. I don't think we're going to end up seeing an Omega to go with this, but wouldn't say she's necessarily technically part of the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So I think as a completionist collector, you could still feel like you're on track for a full collection, which is pretty solid. I wonder if Tamora Morrison's getting any likeness right money from this, because it's like he's close, but it's not quite him. But like it's still close enough that I would fight for some some dollars if I were him. So, but I think it's cool how all these figures have had. It's supposed to be the same clone, but they're so subtly and yet drastically different in their likeness. I almost wouldn't want to display these guys with their helmets on. I think I'd want to see what they all look like individually as individuals within this cloned line. I think it's cool. So really cool figure. I didn't start with the Bad Batch. I'm not going to continue on. I haven't loved the second season, not going to lie, but it's cool to have as a collector for sure.
Yeah, this is not a show that I ever watched, so I can't really speak to the size of the character, but after seeing the prototype at Comic-Con, I don't know if I have mentioned that I've gone to Comic-Con 2 years in a row now, but 2 years ago,
yeah,
when
not
I saw
yet.
the prototype, yeah, I thought it looks pretty cool though. It was at least interesting. Like I think someone in the comments mentioned the Paz Vizsla, right? That he's a bit bulking of a Mandalorian, and so this kind of gives me the same vibes where it's like a larger version of a design that you really enjoy. So I think from that respect, it's an interesting design, but yeah, the Bad Batch line just never hooked me. Thank God, because I've already got enough stuff that I'm into. But as a standalone figure, without me knowing much about it, I think it's a pretty cool design overall.
Cram, I hope you're doing well too. Yeah, let's see. The height is kind of all over the place in some of these screenshots. It's hard to tell because they're all at different levels. One site says he should be just a little taller. Another site has it more taller. It's hard to tell. They also say Omega's like 3.5 feet tall, which seems insanely short on one of these sites. So
well, she's
I
only
think
like 10
Yeah,
or 11 now, right? She's a kid.
yeah, Vivi's like that height though. That's tiny.
In some of these
Something?
screenshots, he's at least a head taller than Hunter. And then in other screenshots, he's not at all, which is also kind of
It's also how they
animation.
portray him though. Like, I mean, he in the show he's meant to be like, I feel like that's the vibe they're trying to give.
Yeah. But he's almost like shoulder to shoulder. He's almost double wide as the other guys. I mean, he's hulking almost. Maybe it's just these photos. They don't show him next to the other figures, so he maybe just looks very like almost like strung out.
Strung out, my God.
Like, stretched, not strung out like he's on crack, but
Okay,
Like
got it.
he's on crack.
I have never heard that for drugs.
Stretched out.
strung out. You never heard strung out before?
Wow.
I don't do a lot of drugs.
Really?
So.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, but yeah, I don't know. I still don't think it's very strong. I mean, just what I'm seeing here.
So Daniel sent me. Thanks, Daniel. Sent me this photo. I feel like this, like dude said, like he's quite wide, and he seems like a full head taller than who is this? Tick. But it's hard to tell because he's at a different level than Hunter, who's closer to the camera. So he looks. I think if Hunter was back here, he would still be a full head taller, at least 6/7 of a head taller. I don't know the math, but this is probably a better look here. But then some sites have, like canon sites or like made to be canon sites, have him as being the tallest, which I guess maybe is a little taller. I don't know. It's really confusing with the Bad Batch because they're not all. I think all the clones are supposed to be 6'2", and they're all totally different because of the.
Yeah. Oh, that was the
genetic
photo I was
sequencing.
about to pull up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the point we're making is it just doesn't seem like it's the right size. Maybe it is the right size. Maybe we were wrong, but I don't know. I'm happy with my
it's
Black
possible.
Series ones. I have the and CT's right. The Tuga doll Lula would have been a nice accessory. I have the season 2 set coming from Rainer, so I think I'm good. I think I made the right decision. Got a little extra Christmas cash, so shout out to Flip the Fool for that. We also have. It's funny, people were just asking for this last week or so, but we have the upcoming releases by Hot Toys, and there are quite a few here, though. Looking at Joey's photo, I don't think they really hit a lot on that list. So we have Buzz Lightyear, Dead Strange, Morbius, Gore the God Butcher, Selena Kyle, Valkyrie, Toby Spider-Man, Black Adam, the Kenobi Vader, Padme, Commander Fox, the Golden, I think this is the Return of the Jedi C-3PO, the Super Battle Droid, and then the Tyler, and I think it's Johnson figures from the, I don't know what this from that overseas film, but
it's called Future Warrior.
Future, I was those War Future Mech War.
I think it's called Warrior of Future.
I think both of you are correct, and I feel like I forgot half of these were coming out. I forgot about Gore. I forgot about Valkyrie. I knew Morbius was coming because those bats. We were kind of excited to finally see them on the WB100 Batman, yeah. I mean, this looks like a solid lineup. It just, I feel like they got to start releasing stuff because we kind of hit that unattainable cycle of pre-order, release. And it kept repeating where we weren't seeing the releases matching the scale of the pre-orders. So really good list there. Is there anything you guys have on order or things that you're looking forward to?
Off this lot,
I'll be interested to see the 501st.
I think the only one I really care about is 3PO.
Do you have the one on order?
I don't actually have it on order, but I don't think it's going to be
Have a good one, Sam. We're going to talk about that battery stuff probably in about 30 minutes, so hopefully you'll be able to listen tomorrow.
Thanks for stopping in, buddy.
As much as see you, buddy. As much as I like the Obi-Wan Vader, like I said before, I don't need it. I have my ideal Vader, so it'd be cool to own eventually, but I'm not tripping over to get it. The 3PO, however, I'll make a very hard effort to pick that up. But that's about it from these figures.
Bortis says Vader's the only one he has in pre-order. I think, Ben, you just canceled, or we're going to cancel your order.
Yeah, so I've been debating it because I was really hoping, I was really hoping that we'd see this Kenobi Vader before Christmas. And now that Christmas has kind of come and gone, I've spent some money that I, probably shouldn't have spent on things like the DeLorean, stuff like that. I'm like, okay.
Like another Vader?
Yeah, well, like another Vader, right? Well, that was it. That came later. But I had to decide if the Kenobi Vader was the most iconic scene for me in order to have kind of one Vader in my collection, or do I want to have multiple Vaders? I think that the tricky part about being a collector is I know myself. I canceled that Kenobi Vader the other day and immediately pre-ordered the Return of the Jedi version instead, because for me, in terms of film iconography, the Return of the Jedi Vader is my Vader. And I loved the scene from the Kenobi show, that fight scene with him and Obi-Wan, but I didn't know if I needed to collect it. But I know 1000% if this guy comes out in a week from now and I start seeing those blogger photos in hand, I'm going to feel like a regret canceling it. But how many Vaders do you really need? I've got an Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett in my collection. So over the Christmas holidays, I picked up that Empire Strikes Back Vader to go with it as a stand-in, because now that means that I've got 6 to 8 months probably with the Return of the Jedi Vader to decide if I eventually want to swap the ESB one out for the Return of the Jedi. I still really only want one Vader in my collection. I think that one's going to be the superior, but for now I've got a good stand-in until then. In terms of the rest of the characters here, though, I've got Catwoman on order, which I'm really excited about. I'm hoping like crazy that they've upgraded the materials on the outfit. I heard Lael say the other day that he thought the body was upgraded. I don't know if it looks that different, but if it is, I'll be okay with that as well. It may tempt me to try and hunt down the Bat Pod once I've got her in collection, but we'll see. And I've got the C-3PO on order as well. For all of the rest of them, I haven't ordered them specifically, but it's one of those things that I think over the course of the year, especially if they become a little bit more available, there's a few standouts here that I would really like to consider. The Dead Strange being one of them. I really enjoyed Multiverse of Madness. It was a really cool scene. In terms of figure collecting, that figure is really crazy looking. What a standout piece I think it will be. So I'm trying to hold off for now, but I think it will be really cool. I noticed somebody say there that some of these feel like the hype train has died down, and I would agree with that. But I think the hype train typically comes back as soon as we see blogger photos and people getting them in hand. It's cyclical that way. So for now, I've got a couple here on order. I did cancel my Black Adam. I decided I didn't need it. And I honestly thought Inart might make one, even though he's not rooted hair or anything. I kind of thought they might make him. But then the movie did really poorly. So now I kind of think this might be my only opportunity.
Well, they did say they were making
go,
one,
so.
right? It was on the list.
They had, I guess that's true. That's right. It was on the list at one point. So never to be seen again, though, I wonder. So we'll see how it
Likely
goes.
not.
I am excited for that C-3PO, though, especially as well. I think that's going to be a really cool figure. So
yeah. And no, I'll probably wait for the very Black Adam release. But so you kind of look back a year ago, and they do these every so often. I don't think it's annually that they do them, but maybe the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, or you guys can. But every time they do these upcoming releases, I kind of love this because this gives you a sense of, here's what we're doing. There might be a few curveballs in here, but here's the general roadmap. And so I really kind of wish we would get this throughout the year, but the fact that they give us this to plan over the next few months is fantastic. So shout out to Jürgen Scholz on Facebook, who does a lot of data stuff, but he talked about 96 days it took Hot Toys last year to kind of, or I guess to begin this year, to get out all the figures that they put up on their upcoming releases. So it's about 3 months, give or take, right? So that can kind of give you a sense of how long it may be for all these figures to roll out, because we do have the Chinese or Lunar New Year kind of thrown in there that will delay things a bit. But looking back a year ago, I saw the DeLorean on there. I saw, a lot of figures that were coming home that made me nervous, or I'm like, okay, well, at least I know that they're coming now. But I got a lot of stuff, from this picture, like a little bit more than I would have wanted. Flash forward to this year, and I'm kind of thanking my lucky stars, if that's even a saying, because I don't have too many on here. I just got the Vader, obviously, and you do want to learn from history. So Ben will learn that he shouldn't have canceled that Vader, but sometimes you learn the hard way. But no, just giving you a hard time, Ben. And then I got,
when you put that beside you, like over your left shoulder there, I'm
that's right. Exactly, taunting you every day. And then obviously that 3PO. This is the one that all of us were kind of waiting on, right? So incredible that's been pushed up a bit, but it is kind of a repaint of what they just did. So that one looks great. What else do I have coming in? I think that those are the only two. I'm kind of studying this picture here. Yeah, I believe those are the only two that I have on pre-order.
I didn't notice stand-in 3PO.
Oh my god.
The other one was a stand-in 3PO, right?
Well, this one's also stand-in.
Oh,
until they do a New Hope, I'm not going to be happy.
I knew you were going to say that. I didn't notice Spider-Man was in there as well, but yeah, I've got the Spider-Man.
Yeah. There you go. Toby as well. That one's coming home, but not the deluxe, because that one was
I didn't get
price.
the sand base.
Just a few things.
SV Prototype says, I'm watching the stream delayed, but Wrecker is actually not super tall. If you just Google the Bad Batch, you can see he's only a few inches taller, so it actually does look accurate. So we definitely chatted about that a little bit there, good sir. So hopefully that helps to shed some light there. One last thing that I wanted to mention on this list, and I forgot to, I've got the Multiverse of Madness Wanda on order. I totally thought we were going to see her around Christmas, maybe even before Christmas, and we haven't yet, and she's not in this picture. So, like, is she either going to come, like, immediately and they didn't have to show it on this list, or, like, is she kicked down the line? But I'd like to get some communication from them on that figure if we could, because I'm very excited to get Multiverse.
And that one's kind of just a repaint as well, right, with longer sleeves. So
no, she's not a repaint. I think her sculpt is different. She's beautiful.
The sculpt is different than the WandaVision one? No, it's 100%. The same copy and paste.
No way.
Really?
Put some money on it.
This or that. All right. I will bet you.
I'll wait for the Oh, hang on.
If you're wrong, you will buy me the Multiverse of Madness
version.
And if you're wrong,
I'll send you an In-N-Out burger.
He will have defeated me. The top
ultimate
prize
gift
there is.
Yeah. Let's see here. Fern, I believe he is correct. They do this approximately every quarter. Sometimes they're a little off, but I believe this year they've hit it pretty consistently.
They do the upcoming releases every quarter.
They might have only done it 2 or 3 times this year, but this is not the first time.
Yeah, this ain't the first time.
Let me check.
The first time this year?
No, this is definitely not. Are you saying this is the first time that they've done this?
No. I'm saying the first time. Well,
Well,
no,
hang on.
that's definitely not what I was saying. I was saying this is our version of this for this year. He's saying they do this every quarter, which is not true at all.
I don't know about every quarter, but they do. I want to say this is like the third one we've seen this year.
Definitely, I may
So,
be tripping, but
hang on.
yeah,
hang on.
annually they do it once.
We
a
got
year.
it January 3rd last year.
Okay.
I swear we've seen this more than once this year.
I'm with you,
All right,
Marco. I
if
thought it was
Someone
only
someone
two, but-
someone
If
check
I'm
the
right,
someone check the tape.
you buy me the Multiverse of Madness.
What is
one.
with you? You just want to avoid getting in trouble.
Oh, I know
I'm
what's
right.
happening. I'll buy it, Marco.
Wow.
I think he already bought it, but he doesn't want Gigi to know that.
Yeah,
Someone
so-
pops
I-
up.
Not yet.
Somebody
It was
else
gifted
bought
to
it.
him. It was gifted.
I'm
Yes.
trying to grift it.
Two-
I'm trying to pull a grift on y'all.
Hang on, here we go.
Look at Equan.
So
Equan says they do it annually. If you
Well,
would
hang
have
on, hang
reviewed
on.
Jurgen's
January
post like
3rd,
I told you, you would know.
that wasn't even in that group one, and I don't have to all day to be sitting around looking at data, Marco. January
At least you
3rd,
said it right.
January 3rd, and then before that was April 22nd, 2022. At least as far as like searching my phone for upcoming releases, if someone can prove me otherwise, let me know. Now we're gonna stop the whole show. Now I'm curious.
Interesting
I
call out by
swear.
CT603 here. It says the Commander Fox looks like an early release. His payment plan doesn't even begin until March. That's interesting.
Wow.
Just adding it to the list, maybe, though. Getting people
you go.
hyped.
Someone,
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it is annually, though. They will do this around Christmas time, give or take, right? So definitely not quarterly, like Fern's saying. I see Sean Forrester, I see Equan saying they do it annually. So I think that kind of aligns with what I'm saying. But
I believe you.
Yeah, it seems to be
I'm dying.
about Christmas time. Yeah, you're right. I could see that. Yeah,
Can't wait
because the
to
last
get
one was
this
December
multiverse.
30th. We had put on the show for January because of the way the show works out. Very, very interesting. All right, here we go. Inart has shown some photos, and I love these photos. I love the way that they've shot them. On the right, I believe this is their 1/12 scale Christian Bale, so this isn't a part of the 1/6 scale line. We have Pattinson, we have the Cavill Superman, we have an excellent Ron and Hermione. Hermione maybe a little bit less, but I like the Ron. I think he's got that shitty and grin fucking down pat. And then we have Timothée Chalamet. We got the Dune, which I believe the one I have on order is Og Toys, and I am not regretting it. Not because this doesn't look fantastic. I think this does look better, but I think I'm happy with the price that I paid. That I will be paying for the Og Toys, relative to the quality. I don't think I need the rooted. So I know when Marco and I, when this was sort of teased, we had seen that first image around the same time as the Og Toys. We were kind of going back and forth, like, which do you need more? I think I made the right choice, right? Because this hasn't even gone up for solicitation yet. So very happy with my choice there. We also got a look at the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. This is potentially a 3-pack, and I love the way they did this base here with the Joker name here on the stairs. You get the sort of civilian look. You get the subway. I want to say this is a subway look here, if I'm not mistaken, on the right. And then you get the Murray show look on the left. And also we do get the opening look, the Everything Must Go look. A little bit of a look at the accessories. So you got the pistol, the bag, the card, the duffel bag, the sort of the plastic clown mask that he has. There's some different clown stuff. So I think all this stuff looks excellent. There's also a photo of the diorama base with the Murray set. And I think from these photos, one of the things that some people are pointing out is in the film, in certain angles, he does have a slight appearance of a widow's peak, but in these photos, he's got the full-on Vegeta widow's peak, and might be perhaps a bit overstated. So I believe Inart has been made aware of this feedback, and potentially that could be adjusted. I believe there's also some feedback, that Riley posted of some of the Pattinson Batman feedbacks from the community. So, they're willing to listen. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to make those changes. At least it is good that they have gotten the feedback they need early enough, and I do think it's great the photos that they have released here. I think they've done a good job sort of showing these in an appropriate way. I think we talk about it a lot, and I want to mention that later in the show, but I think the messaging and the way that you introduce things to us, I think this is a job well done. So got to give them props on that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, these look fantastic. No doubt about that. I love the little smile on Ron's face. It's so funny. Hermione also looks fantastic. The outfits, again, they look good. I wish we already had Harry in hand so you could kind of like picture these a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like you would all kind of know like the tailoring and how it feels and how it drapes and stuff. Because, you know, photos look good, but they can also be futzed to hell. So I've seen people's Inart Jokers look like absolute shit. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you make a $1,000 figure look bad? But yeah, I think all the things that we've seen from Inart were that Bale looked really good. The Paul Atreides, that's super tempting, but I don't know if I love Dune that much to spend that kind of money. So I think I'm a Zach. I think I'm going Og Toys. But yeah, I think everything they're showing, you know, I have no reason to disbelieve they're going to look as good as they do.
Yeah, good points all around, boys. So with regards to the Jokers, who made a great point here. Bob Dylan said, "Why release a flex separate from the Jokers?" So that 3-pack we initially saw was, I think, 2 bodies, 3 head sculpts, and it was like you said, the bathroom scene, the Murray scene, and then like that initial clown scene. And then it looks like the Fleck is being kind of marketed separately with that staircase diorama, which is interesting. It would have been cool if you were going to have to commit to a 3-pack to be able to pick and choose which ones you might want in the pack, but I can imagine the production nightmare that would create, so I don't think it's a realistic suggestion, but it would have been nice anyways. I think these figures, specifically these Jokers, look amazing. The likeness to Joaquin is insane. For the Harry Potter figures, you know, I've heard some collectors and read some comments to say, you know, it's weird that they're kids. It's weird, you know, if these were older characters from the Harry Potter universe, I would have been more comfortable displaying them. I feel like it's only weird if you make it weird, though. Like, these are characters from a very iconic film. They look like the characters they're supposed to. They have the outfits that they're supposed to. Like, nothing is weird about it, other than the fact that they're younger actors in that particular film that it's showing. And I think that it can hopefully show collectors that it's not weird to collect your favorite characters from these films. If that Harry Potter 1 movie is your favorite Harry Potter movie, now you get a chance to collect from it. I think that's cool. It felt like it only started to be called weird when they've added Hermione into the group here now and Ron. But like Harry Potter, I didn't see people saying that. So
I had the same. I had the same argument when the Stranger Things figures were coming out. I was like, as much as I love the show, I don't want like a bunch of kids on my shelf, because people come over and, you know, it's like,
they judge you. Kids. They judge collectors.
Yeah,
for that,
I think that's like, more of what it is. It's like, I don't want other people to fucking think.
But again, if they're as good as they are, that's Harry Potter. That's the Harry Potter.
Yeah, I
stuff.
feel like Harry Potter's in a much different realm than Stranger Things, but yeah, it's.
But also, there's going to be one weird guy on the internet that's going to do some weird stuff. Like, you already know. You already, and it's, I guess because it's, you know, Harry Potter, like, I think it's less likely, but I know some dickhead out there is going to do some Fison something with Hermione, and it's just going to make everyone uncomfortable.
That would be messed up.
But you know,
straight to prison.
You know that straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
But I think you're right, Ben. Like, you know, when it's Miles and you know, he's, I think in the first one he's like 13, 14, you know, and Gwen's about that age as well. Like, no one really batted an eye, but I don't know. I guess I can see why it would make people uncomfortable, especially given the option that there are other films that they could have made. But
I think you just have to ask yourself. I don't think it's weird. You just have to ask yourself why you think it's weird. Then, like, what,
you just know that there's going to be some guy that's going to do something nasty with it.
If that happens, then if that happens, I think that's inappropriate. I don't think that's cool.
100%.
That's not something you should do with figure collecting. But
No,
I think
not
if it's
at
an iconic representation of the character, I don't think it has to be weird. I think people can be just as excited about this as we were for the Harry Potter one. Now, I will critically say I don't think the Hermione looks as much like Hermione as I wish she should. I wish she should. I think her prototype needs some work. The Ron is scary good.
The Ron is scary.
Anyone want just the
so
Ron?
good.
Because I might just get just the Ron. This is
He's
awesome.
really good. Really, really good. The Paul Atreides. So I don't know if right now I love Dune enough to commit this kind of money, but one of my most heavily anticipated films of next year is Dune 2. I think it's going to be really good. And I think the combined films especially will make me want to own Paul, especially if he's as good as I think the trailers kind of make him out to be, as heroic as he could be. So for now, it's kind of a wait and see to see how I feel about the film. But I wouldn't be surprised if I convince myself to tip over and get an Inart Paul at some point. He looks really good. Really, really good. Exciting showcase. Exciting time to be a figure collector. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think Inart, this is like a perfect format where we're getting high resolution images. We're getting really clear shots of the figures. They're posed properly. Their hair doesn't look like absolute shit like the Hot Toys ones that we saw. And so we talk about controlling the messaging, best foot forward. This is really like impressing me. Yeah, the Hermione needs work, like Ben said, but this Ron is like, that is the character shrunk down.
It's crazy.
Like that's crazy. Like I do really just want that one, if anything. But yeah, I'm liking everything that I'm seeing. I'm not super in on the Joker multi-packs or the standalone. I just didn't love that film enough. But I think the 112 Batman I might be in on. The version of the Batman continues to look great. I think Hot Toys, I was saying Inarts was going to be far superior. I don't know. It might be closer than I ever
Hot Toys
thought.
looks fucking incredible.
They brought it. They brought it with that one. And that's that competition, bringing out the best in everyone. So, I think I just am continued to be impressed by what they're showing. Really hope they continue to speed up some releases so we can get some more figures in hand. So I can get that Aragorn and the Batman and other ones that I've got on order in hand as quickly as possible. But yeah, this is a really nice showcase.
There you go. Get it or not, Marco, you mentioned you may be interested in a Ron. I'm looking at the Batman. I don't have a Batman on order yet. Classy Thomas has promised me his Hot Toys if and when he sells it. So I might, hold out for that. But yeah, these photos are incredible. They've really done a good job. And I gotta give them a round of applause for that.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, the only thing I was really looking forward to was C-3PO earlier, but nothing's really kind of yelling at me that's like, you need to order this. So I'm just enjoying the ride for now.
I've got the Batman on order. I'm hoping it gets its official announcement here pretty soon. So cross fingers there. I'm very
Did you go sculpted or rooted? I forget, Ben.
I went with the sculpted hair because I honestly think that I'll display it mostly with the cowl on, like 98% of the time. So I think it was the premium one or whatever it was called. Their tiers are a little confusing to remember, to be honest. But I've got the Batman on order. The Paul Atreides, I can definitely see myself tipping over into that one as well. For the rest, I think I can skip them. That Joker movie, while I loved the film, it's not my Joker. It's kind of just like watching somebody truly slip into madness and have a mental breakdown, which they do very well, but it doesn't ever feel like the Joker to me. So I can skip that one.
I'm living that. I don't need to watch that movie.
Yeah, right. I'm just going to collect a little of Zach on the shelf here. So,
it's called The Pandemic. Heard of it?
The Oxfather.
And I absolutely 1000% need to avoid a 112th line. I have too much shit I already want to collect in my life. I don't need to go down that line.
What if it's 120 shipped?
Oh no,
Wow,
I'll wait for a Hono Spider-Man or something instead at 160.
Right.
Keep it in the 6 scale.
Awesome. And I will just say, like, full disclosure, get it or not, I kind of talked about ones that I may want, but the Batman, I've got the sculpted version on order. At the time, it felt like the right thing to do because I wasn't into rooted hair at all. But, now that I've got my Joker figures, now that I've seen a few more like really quality rooted hair figures, Gandalf being one of them, I'm kind of thinking like, man, the rooted version for a significant amount more right? You're paying that premium for the rooted, but I could see that me wanting to track that down. So I'm kind of having a little bit of regret, but ultimately maybe just stick with the sculpted. But yeah, now I'm kind of a bit more into rooted figures than I was. Inart made me a believer.
There you go. So we want to thank our friends over at Collector Zone for being sponsors of Collecting Weekly. They offer all of our listeners 15% off in-stock items and full pay pre-orders with code CW. They're a great show. Marcos has some excellent customer service, in my opinion, some of the best in the biz. Not just saying that as an affiliate, but also someone that has shopped with him on a few occasions. Gets right back to you. Easy to get a hold of, and a really great guy to work with. Again, you get 15% off everything in stock and full pay pre-orders with the code CW. Big shout out to Marcos from a Collector Zone. So we had seen this happen in 2022 in Australia, where button cell battery imports were being limited. Pop culture actually had to do like a crazy get this shit out of our warehouse clearance sale, where you couldn't be Australian and purchase them, because of these button cell batteries. And the law has made its way into the United States. We'll talk about that here in a second. And Prime One made an announcement that they are no longer shipping items containing button cell batteries to the United States, with orders placed after January 9th of I assume it's 2024, but also with the way statutes work, it may be, I guess the way this is worded, I believe that's January 9th, 2024 is what it's supposed to be. And I'm wondering how this is going to affect Hot Toys going forward. Now, obviously, Hot Toys has started switching mostly to the USB power. Occasionally, we are still getting stuff that I believe was made after these changes. We typically will see a figure 12 to 18 months later. So this is from September 11th, 2023, when they officially, put it out there. So the article is called "Making Families Safer from Button Cell Batteries or Coin Battery Dangers," and it's called Reese's Law. So the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission voted to approve a mandatory standard to reduce the button cell and coin battery ingestion hazards to children 6 years and younger. The batteries used in many types of consumer products, from keyless entry remotes, wireless gaming controllers, toys, musical greeting cards. And there's basically like an international standard of safety procedures that they want everything to follow. Now, this law is anything that is offered for sale, manufactured for sale, imported into the U.S., which is kind of what we're talking about, or included separately with a consumer product. They have to meet certain child-resistant packaging requirements. So obviously Hot Toys, where they're fairly easy to get into, they obviously would not likely meet those requirements, even though they are for adults. Again, the qualifier is consumer product. It's not just specifically toys.
Adults.
They do not apply to button cell or coin batteries manufactured or imported on or before February 12th, 2023. So again, this is an older law that's officially kind of begun being implemented this year. We're starting to see that, with some of these. I know Ben had an issue with one of his Star Trek figures where he thought he may have gotten the wrong unit, as some were made for Australia, others are made for the rest of the world. And I think it's going to be interesting going forward, what Hot Toys has to adjust. And it's a huge pain in the ass, right? Because a lot of these Hot Toys, they have very obscure batteries. They can be very expensive if you don't get them from like Amazon. If you go to like a Batteries Plus and you're trying to buy, these very specific LR44s or whatever they use these days. So I'm wondering if you think this is going to have any trickle down in the hobby. Of course, we probably won't see these changes for a very long time, but I think going forward, I think we're not going to have, everything's going to be USB powered or just not lit at all.
Yeah, I almost think that all the innovation we've been seeing with the USBs and stuff is.
So I told the Brenton, yeah.
Yeah, Hot Toys getting ready for this. It's not. Almost seems like it's not even. Let's give the customer something better. It's like, how do we sell this shit and not get in trouble? But I mean, it is what it is. I prefer the USB. I think that's much better. They could work on how they implement it, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's honestly probably just easier if like everybody, gets the same thing. It's not having to package stuff separate and make sure these packages don't have batteries and make sure these packages get shipped to this. It's like, just fucking make them all the same. But yeah, I think you're right. I think either something's going to have lighting or it just won't. Something like an Iron Man definitely needs lighting, but honestly, like, I don't know. I almost want to say like lightsabers, like fucking forget it. Just don't even bother, because the USB things are kind of clunky, especially for right now, that it's like such a pain in the ass. I mean, we saw Lane doing his Grand Inquisitor, and it was a fucking nightmare and a half. It was like, why bother? Just fucking... It's such a pain in the ass. Like, I wouldn't even do it just for a photo or two. It's, like,
it's just poor implementation, though. They could do it better. They just are choosing not to, or taking a shortcut, because it's not that hard to make smaller wires to make something brighter with a stronger LED.
But I think they're also, Marco, it can be smaller, but I think there's also the durability, right? Like, it has to withstand rough handling, which I've seen many collectors handle their figures, and I think, like, when I had CCFL Sabers, the wires are like, I mean, angel hair pasta thin, right? And I damaged one and had to send it back to get repaired. So I think there's a you could do it, but it's like the average collector that, breaks a wrist peg and then has to email Sideshow and get like a full figure refund because they don't know what to do. Like, there's also that they have to contend with, right? So,
it's a good point.
Specifically you, Mark. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I am rough with my shit. So,
but yeah, I think it could be done, but I think there's also like the diminishing returns of like, if we make it this small and we have a 30% return rate because of it, like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
It's hard.
I don't think it's that poorly implemented, though. I think, with these things. Sorry, Ben, I mean to mix you off.
It's good.
You can get. I know with USB A's, I imagine they're with USB C's as well. You can get USB extenders, right? It's just you plug it in, it extends it all the way down to a power outlet, and you could light many figures with, one USB-C hub, right? So I think it's implemented fine enough, right? Like, they're not going to give you 8 feet of cord just because, a lot of us use DTOMs. They're going to give you a small cord, and you have to then take that and apply it to your setup. So I think they're implemented fine. I think it is clunky, but it's clunky because it has to be.
Mm-hmm. I'm of like 3 different minds, because on one hand, obviously, I don't want kids out there choking on batteries or, these things causing harm to people. That would be horrible. Nobody wants that. On the other hand, these things are super expensive. And I like having the choice between whether I light something up with a USB or batteries. Maybe both functions I think are really nice. I think with that being taken away from us and only having the USB function available, it's great for function in terms of lighting it up, sure, but I don't like wires in my display. I have fully white display cabinets with fingers kind of standing singularly. I have no good way to hide wires coming out the back of every figure that has a light in it, which would be at least 30% of my collection right now, which means then I just have to keep them off, have to keep them unplugged. If I want to do figure photography, I have to have a plug available. I don't love that feeling. If they have to do it because it's a regulatory change, well, then it sucks because it's a nothing burger, because there's not much we can do about regulatory changes.
Yeah.
On the other hand, being so expensive, I do like having the options. Even literally the DeLorean sitting beside me right now, one of my actual complaints with that was that it has the ability to be DC powered, but it doesn't give you a cord to be DC powered. Like, you either have the cord to plug into the wall or you don't. It doesn't come with $1,000 vehicle, and it doesn't come with batteries.
That's how iPhones are.
But at least you can buy both, right? So I've got AA batteries in the DeLorean right now that I can just click on when I'm sitting beside the desk. I don't take up a power outlet with that. Turn it on and off when I want to until those batteries die. Or if I wanted to put it on a more committed cord, I could. But having the option is really nice for such a high cost collectible. So.
2 things, Ben. One, for the battery thing that you're talking about, look up dummy batteries on Amazon. It is the best thing you can buy. It's basically, let's say there's 3 batteries in your DeLorean. You'll use 2 that are basically just hollow shells with the contacts. The third will be plugged into a wire, and you just run that to it's a plug-in on the other side, and it provides continuous power.
I will be getting that for my tumbler, so I'll definitely hit you up.
I have a video on CW, and they work fantastically. The second thing I would say as a counterpoint, which I do think you make some great points, but I don't think it's a good thing to leave your batteries in your Hot Toys long term, because they will leak. So the counterpoint to what you said is like, I could just turn them on, but it's like, if you're taking figure photography with an Iron Man, you're gonna have to turn it around, unscrew 8 panels, put the batteries in, screw them in, hit 8 switches, and then set it up, and then take your photo. Or I believe with the Inquisitor, correct me if I'm wrong, the plug, you could remove it, so you'd have it removed, you just put it in and then plug it into the wall, and then you'd have it lit up. So I think they're both aren't great options, right? In a perfect world, they'd offer black and white wire options for every collection, but again, this is a new upgrade that they're doing. It's not perfect. I think maybe in time they'll get it right, but again, if it's just a USB-C plug into the back of a figure, then I feel like you could just buy the white plug for your case. It's not ideal, but I believe you could do that.
That's a good point.
And like
I never thought about the white cords.
But then also, Ben, to that point, I used to do this with my figures. I don't know if it's what you should do, but back when I had all my Star Wars figures, I had like the Empire Vader, which has the batteries on the bottom. I had the help me out here, Dean. The Emperor, how do you say his name? I always fuck this one up. Help me out here, Dean. Palpatine. I always say Palpatine. Palpatine, his throne had a light up, and I had them all hooked up to these dummy batteries, and they could be lit all the time. So imagine you said you have 5 to 10 figures. If you could make it work with white wires, you could have those figures on all the time, right?
That'd be sweet. Yeah,
it would be
really
cool, right? Just a thought, right? Just an alternative thought.
Yeah, no, I think it just also requires more planning. I do, as I said,
100%. It's a pain in the ass. To take a figure down once it's all wired in is a fucking nightmare.
Even just reposing would be a challenge, right? Carlito does make the point, though, of nobody uses battery functions on these figures, and I would agree with that too. My Moon Knight has never had the batteries see that figure. It doesn't have USB function availability. It just looks dead all the time. Still a great figure, but turned off for sure. I'm sure my C-3PO will be the same way unless I figure out another solution. So
I guess really not sure of what this means long term, but I think we've talked about it a few times on the show that it's just time that Hot Toys and other 1/6 companies start to innovate in this field. We talked about all the pitfalls when it comes to putting in these button cell batteries. It just has no more place in 2023, 2024, moving on. We've got so many technologies where the wires could be small, where LEDs are so powerful that don't require a lot of power to them. There are so many ways that these companies can implement technology to make these figures even greater than they are. I just showed the Iron Man Mark III that I got. The only downside is I'm not putting those batteries in. Like, I'm not taking the time to put those batteries in for 10 minutes. And if there was a way for them to power that up, that figure would go from a 9 to a 12. Like, it just really would add that much more life to it. And they're great without it, but it's time we start seeing some innovations.
There we go.
Oh yeah? You betcha.
Dean, did you have anything? Sorry, I don't know if you went already.
No. Yeah, I already went.
Oh, okay. There we go. My apologies. So for episode 299, I wanted us to talk 2 things. So I would like you guys to share one or more than one thing that you learned in 2023. And also, what is your favorite thing that has been said on this show? Not necessarily like the funniest or whatever, but just a thing that you think was like the best take that you or one of your peers has said. So for me, I think the lesson that I learned this year was that I should really think about what I purchase and how I will display it long term, because there was a lot of stuff that I bought this year, smaller scale figures, where I dove in pretty hard. And, I think my worst example I bought all the Marvel Legends, the what was it? The Guardians of the Galaxy 3, all the blue suits. And I was like, I don't really like these figures that much. This was like it was like $125. They take up a lot of space. I can't sell them for anything because no one's going to buy them. And I ended up giving them to a friend's kid for his birthday, and he loved it, and he loves them. It was a good deed, but it was just like I wasted all this money. They took up a bunch of space for like a few months, and then I gave them away and basically just wasted that money for nothing. So I want to be more thoughtful with what I purchase. I want to still be able to collect all kinds of scales, but I want to do it a little bit more, a little smarter, and I just want to make my dollars count, because I think everything in the world's getting more expensive. Some of these blank series Marvel Legends could be $30 a piece, so I want to make every purchase count. And so I may slow down a bit in collecting in terms of what I purchased in my new this week's, but I think I want to make them a little bit more memorable each pickup. And that's not saying that I'm just not going to buy anything and just buy big shit, but I just want to really think as I purchase. And I think I had a lot of
stuff for you.
I had a lot of FOMO this year.
Jesus.
So I want to, not buy as much fruitless stuff.
Yeah.
Now, as far as my favorite thing that was said this year, I say this all the time. I think Marco, with the control the messaging with the Inart stuff, I quote that like once a month. I think that to me was just the best thing that we have ever said on this show this year. It held true basically way more often than we would have liked, with companies just doing some goofy ass shit. Inart and Hot Toys doing some goofy ass shit, and I think it's just such an easy thing to keep in the back of your mind. I think we're seeing companies be a little bit more cognizant of how they're showing stuff now. And I think for companies going into 2024, I think that's got to be on the forefront of everyone's mind, because now we got J&D, we got Hot Toys, we got Inart. They're all going to be making some very expensive figures, and I think each of them have to manage our expectations as well as the quality of their products, because we saw it last week and a half, 2 weeks ago with the J&D Joker. I think they really got off on the wrong foot, and while it did sell out, I don't think that the public perception was ever really overtly positive because of how they started showing it to us and how they ended it. So I think that was our best take this year. So Marco, congratulations.
Hey, love to see it.
What a guy.
I would have thought it was a tough nut to swallow, but okay.
Yeah, well,
was that this year?
I don't know. It's all blending
I don't think it
together at
was.
this point.
I'm pretty sure that was a while back. Lessons learned. On more than 2 occasions this year, I want to say it happened to me 3 or 4 times, I had multiple pre-orders coming at once, and it was like all of a sudden, at the beginning of the week, I ain't got shit going on, and then by Friday I owe some guy $800. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So chill out with the pre-orders, because I can't think of any of the figures that I got that I couldn't have gotten later anyway. So chill out on the fucking pre-orders, because dear Lord, it gets expensive very, very quickly. Now, unfortunately, this year we were still kind of coming out of pandemic delays, and I feel like we're kind of getting out of that now. So the pre-orders, when they say, hey, probably like March 2024, you could probably bet your bottom dollar it'll be around March, But yeah, there was so many that were like Q2 2022, and then it's like, oh no, they're Q1 2023, and all the other ones are also Q1. So it's like, fuck, dude. So, chill it with the pre-orders. And then what? Favorite thing said on the show? That's tough, dude. We say a lot of funny stuff.
No, it's not the funniest thing that but your favorite,
favorite take.
like what did someone say that you're like, damn, that was a fucking good take. It resonated with you.
I say a lot of good shit. I think anything I say, you could probably, yeah.
Okay.
You bank on that shit.
Yeah, you could take whatever I say to the bank. So I don't steer this audience wrong. What the fuck, dude? You can't tell me my opinion's wrong. It's an opinion. Zach, you're a bad person. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That is a. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, do we? 52 episodes. That's a lot of takes. God, I honestly can't think of one that I was like, damn, good shit. But everyone on the show pulls their weight, so that's tough.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I think overall, just things that happened to me this year that I learned from a little bit. The pre-order was one of them. I, was governing my own money this year. I didn't have to explain my collecting to anybody, which was a nice change. However, when there's no safeguards in place and you've got a bank account at your disposal, it's easy to click the button a bunch more times than you probably should. And as a result, I probably lost $200 worth of NRDs this year, maybe even 250, like almost the cost of a whole figure just down the drain because I either changed my mind. Either changed my mind or didn't do my homework well enough or my FOMO kicked in. And then, by the time I had to wait for it, I just changed my mind. A lot of that decision making was around wait lists. At the beginning of the year, it seemed like when things hit wait lists, that was actually it. Maybe you wouldn't be able to get another chance. And then over the last, I'd say 3 or 4 months, I've had a lot of my wait lists convert. And a lot of them I've just changed my mind on. As soon as they were like available, I'm like, okay, I didn't really need this to begin with either. So that's been kind of a tough nut to swallow type of lesson that I've learned for myself this year is like only pre-ordered if I feel like I really need it. Because otherwise I'm just setting myself up to waste my own money, and we all work way too hard for our money no matter what job you do, to just throw it down the hole. I agree with you, Zach, that Marco's take on controlling the message I do think has been really standout this year, because of all of the competition that's coming to Hot Toys' door, right? This year is really kind of a full year with Inart that we've got a chance to see a couple of different releases. J&D's now throwing their hat in the ring for 6-scale collecting. And once again, I don't feel like they controlled their message very well leading right up to their pre-order date for one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive 6-scale collectible I've ever seen. Not great messaging there, not great, hype train with pictures that were quality enough to be like, yeah, I could justify my money on that. Some statue collectors tell me that's the way they've always done it. I think that should change for 6-scale collectors. We're used to something different. And Hot Toys is typically pretty good at controlling the message, but the competition, maybe not so much. So that's definitely a good one there for sure. But yeah, I think in terms of overall lessons next year or 2024, I just really got to be slower at hitting the pre-order button, really decide how I want to display it, what I need in my collection. Even right now, I've got the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man suit and the Symbiote Spider-Man suit coming. And I don't have enough room in my display, I don't think, for 3 different Spider-Men. So what am I doing? I've already got money invested. Like, where am I going to put these things? The DeLorean was almost the same way. As much as I love this car sitting beside me, I literally had to go out and buy a $500 TV cabinet that would fit it after I bought the DeLorean, just because I had nowhere else in the apartment I could put it, which to me was like, I did not plan that well. Now I've got this extra expense. So yeah, planning the collection is also going to be a trick as I accumulate more and more stuff.
Yeah, the planning stuff, I think we all will have a common theme that the planning you're always learning. You're always learning the hard way sometimes, right? Like Ben, you talked about you had to buy an extra thing. And I don't mean to make light of you losing $250 in NRDs, because that's not fun. Like that stuff stings for sure. But sometimes you take it on the chin and then you just move on and learn not to do it the next time. And I think, I've lost value on a lot of figures this year by, like, I would find a retailer or a reseller, I'm not sure how to classify them, and like, okay, well, there's no tax and no very little NRD or to no NRD, no shipping costs. So I think that maybe I'll want this figure. I'm going to lock in a pre-order. Well, we know how poorly the market went this whole year. So I was actually going to mention this is awesome. Okay, so let me speed up this point really quick. So then things were just going so deep discount that I was like, yeah, I saved a little bit of money, but if I was patient, I could have saved so much more. So really, really trying to think about, do I really need that one? Do I need to lock in a pre-order? Should I just wait? Should I be patient? And really knowing my entire network of places I could buy from. We talked about, a really great one earlier, but so just that patience and just trying to be even more critical because, like Ben said, space is limited and it's really easy to eat up into it. And then you're buying figures for space you do not have. So yeah, it's always a learning experience. 14 Wellington is saying Buck E. Lee's was my favorite thing to come from this group this year. Yeah, that was going to be an honorable mention. I know we said not funniest thing, but my God, that's some of the hardest I've laughed.
Dude, the after show? Oh, Bucky Lee's was fucking legendary.
I might still be lightheaded from laughing so hard that entire day in the after show.
Oh my God, dude. The good call, 14 Wellington.
But it's funny that like it wasn't even a thing, and then we just saw on the search bar like, why did you type it like that? And then it
I
became
was rushing. Okay,
whole
I was trying to
thing.
make the point quickly to keep the show going. There's so many things.
Oh my God, such a fucking funny moment. And so in terms of what we talked about, so this is a specific example, but it was kind of a through line throughout our conversations, going back a while now. There you go. Just about value, right? We talk about value a lot. And, certain things are just going to be really, really expensive. I mean, every 1/6 figure, maybe you can't say like, oh, it's really, even $250 ones is the value there. Well, our perception on that has shifted. But when we were talking about the limited edition Spider-Man, I think all of us were kind of like, okay, well, we got mixed feelings. It's pretty cool. I'd probably get it. But then when we started talking about, well, what if it came out at, $320? I think it ended up being $340, right? But we kind of had this conversation. We're like, well, now it's a lot less appealing if it's that much and you layer on these other things. So I think we've had some really good conversations about how we value these things and what our breaking point in terms of prices. Ben talks about price conditioning very often. And so, that's something that's always evolving. That damn J&D Joker has pushed all of our limits, right, in terms of how we're thinking about these figures. And for me, that was kind of a breaking point where I was like, I just cannot do it. Even the cheapest one, I just cannot.
Yeah, 100%. All excellent takes, gentlemen, except for Dean's. Let's see here. Let him unmute it.
Why are you such a bad person?
I don't know. I don't know.
I love the fact that he never denies it because he knows.
I'm awful. I've always said
he's
I'm awful.
Proud of it too. He's like, fuck you.
I'm like,
oh my God.
I thought that was Harry Potter at first.
What type of Harry Potter do you watch, Ben?
I don't know what's more annoying, that or fucking zombie Iron Man.
Oh, how dare you. What about this?
How dare you.
Shadow Wizard Money Gang, we love casting spells. This song is sponsored by the Shadow Government. Nuclear bombs. Swag Messiah.
How long does this clip go on for?
Bees make honey.
Bees make honey. Oh yeah, I cut it there because you like bees.
So many bees.
Did everyone? Okay, so I made a mistake. I made a oopsie, as they say.
No, you?
I did, and I want to thank you guys for putting up with me today, because with Christmas and Christmas Eve, and
you didn't watch the movie, did you?
No, I didn't. But I said I admitted it before the show.
Poor Eddie almost
and then
got
I was
fired
no.
for this
To be
last
fair,
I know.
well, no, there's a difference between consciously saying you're not going to watch it beforehand and then not being able. There's a difference, I will say. But Eddie gets a pass for his whatever he doesn't want to watch. But I was planning to watch it today, and when I sat down, Victoria's like, "Oh, we promised we were going to Peter Piper Pizza today." So that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Did you guys watch it? To talk about it, or we can run it back next week if we need to. But
I watched it.
I have it here, and I apologize to Eddie because that's not cool. For the last 10 years, excuse me, for the last 10 years, lifelong buddies Ethan, Isaac, and Chris have gathered on Christmas Eve to celebrate the holidays with a bang. As Isaac prepares to become a first-time father, the friends realize that their annual tradition is coming to a sad end. To make it as memorable as possible, they plan a night of debauchery and hilarity by searching for the Nutcracker Ball, the holy grail of Christmas parties in New York. Again, I apologize. I'm not worthy to be on this panel tonight.
Yeah, this is a fun movie. Definitely has its issues in terms of storytelling, but I mean, it's a movie about a bunch of dudes drinking, doing drugs, trying to find a party. But it tries to be a little deeper than that at times, and it falls short. The main character, I would say, is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. And he has some issues. His parents died when they were young.
He's basically Batman.
He's basically Batman, and that's why him and his
I like
friends
his last
always...
name. Or his damn it, I fucked it up.
I don't know where you were going.
He's going with the Robin.
I like your legal name. You should.
Oh, how dare you? I totally forgot he was Robin. That's hilarious. Anyway, he loses his parents when he's young, and his two friends are like, "Well, we'll hang out for Christmas," because he's down bad, right? He's like going through it, and so his friends are like, let's hang out. So they start this Christmas tradition of hanging out, and then one year they catch wind of this epic party, and they can't find it to save their lives, and they kind of give up on it. Flash forward 10 years later, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's working the coat room at some party, and he finds tickets to this party, and he's like, oh. So him and his friends get together for one last hoorah to go to this party. And then kind of on the way to the party, they kind of start piecing together his story. He had this girlfriend, and he didn't want to meet her parents because he was... I feel like they never really went into why. Because it's, the fact that he lost his parents and he's afraid of, I don't know, losing another family or...
Yeah, it just screamed as like commitment issues, not necessarily.
Yeah, commitment issues, but they never really dive into it. So when at the very end of the movie, he's giving this speech to this girl, and you kind of are expecting okay, let's get into what the problem is, and it's just kind of I liked hanging out with my friends, and it was like, well, that's kind of fucking gutless. I was ready for some, to crack the egg and get into the fucking nitty gritty, but they didn't. That was my only real problem with this movie. Other than that, it's fucking hilarious. Seth Rogen in this movie is so goddamn funny. Or not necessarily him, but the story beats that involve him are all the funniest bits, I think. The scene in the church. Oh my god, with the baby, dude. I fucking started cracking up, dude. Yeah, holy shit, that was hilarious. And then when they finally make it to the party, he stabs the dude in the hand. I don't want to say too much because I don't know if Zach's ever gonna watch this, but it was so fucking funny.
Too much Merlin.
Wow. Yeah, he's got too much Merlin.
Well, I realize I have watched the movie and I'm ready to give my review.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, let me start off by saying I am not normally a fan of raunchy humor, but this movie was so much more than that. However, if you are super religious or uptight about the spirit of the holidays, or if you dislike anything to do with drugs, this movie is, and I emphasize, not for you. I personally find drug stuff funny in movies like these, though for a while there, Seth Rogen had me a bit anxious. The music was fantastic. The karaoke scene was perfect. The story was heartwarming, and I laughed out loud so many times. Now this 63-year-old woman wants, 31-year-old man wants to learn a Beastie Boys song and do E at a rave again. Ha 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 ha. 5 stars.
That's crazy. You interrupted me to read that.
Yeah, it is crazy. I thought you were done.
No, I wasn't even close.
Oh, wow.
You just started talking. I was like, oh, okay.
He was, in fact, just kind of recounting the movie scene by scene.
Yeah,
I think
that I
you were
had
in the
seen.
first quarter. So
Yeah. I was recounting my experience watching the film.
Okay.
You guys are the worst.
Yeah, no, it was fine. I didn't. It also had commercials. It was on Tubi. I don't know if it was anywhere else, but I feel like if I gotta sit through commercials, it's got to be really good, and this movie wasn't really good. So I will take away on that, but it was fun. I didn't I wasn't sitting on the couch grumpy as shit having to watch this, so that was a plus.
soon every streaming service will have commercials in it until you pay them,
bro, right?
extra money a month.
It's like,
ridiculous.
oh, you already pay us for the streaming service, or pay us more to not get commercials. Fucking
why I'm
Hulu's like
pirating
that
everything.
now. Peacock. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. You're not wrong, Marco.
Amazon
You
Prime
guys-
is the latest one. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, well, at least Amazon lets you skip them, but yeah, you're not wrong. It's like, what the fuck am I seeing a preview for a fucking
No,
thing? A show?
$3 a month now if you want no commercials on their stuff. 3 additional. Anyways.
You guys are off the rails. Katera says here, aha, this movie was good. It was wild, gave me anxiety and secondhand embarrassment, but it was good. I second that point for sure. There's a lot of scenes in this movie where you do 1000% just feel like awkward watching these exchanges. It's like when you're the sober one at a party, but your friends are getting really hammered around you and like seeing what ensues because of their choices. Seth Rogen's wife, when she gives him the whole bundle of drugs at the beginning of the movie and was like, this is for your night. You know that it's going to get pretty wild, but some of the shit that happens is hilarious for sure. I really liked the weed dealer. It's the same actor that plays Zod in Man of Steel. The people. That guy, what the heck is his name now? I can't remember the actor's name, but really funny as a weed dealer, and 1000% reminds me of so many dealers that I would have picked up from back in the day, where they make you sit in the car or sit in their living room for a really awkward exchange for at least 45 minutes because they're paranoid that if you're in there for longer than, or less than 8 minutes, that they're somehow going to get busted. And it was the same kind of like awkward, weird conversation of getting some weed that I've ever experienced. So I thought that was really funny. Overall, as a Christmas movie,
Wait a minute. You've had awkward drug exchange? I thought weed was legal over there.
It is now. It wasn't always. It was only
really?
legalized in 2018. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I don't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I started smoking back in 2011, so like I know those feelings of the guy rolling up and you have to sit there with him for a half an hour. Super awkward.
Dude,
they did that so well though.
Speaking of that, I did the most sketchy looking legitimate transaction ever today. It wasn't even a transaction,
pizza
but
place?
No. I forgot to take my medicine this morning, and Victoria's like, "Oh, I'll bring it by," but she didn't tell me when she was gonna leave to my work. And my parents called me. They're like, "Hey, can you come by real quick to help your dad put away some stuff from Christmas?" So I left, and I saw her turning left onto the street where I work at, and I called her. I was like, "Hey, meet me at the gas station real quick." So we pulled up next to each other, and she handed me a Ziploc bag into my car, and I just drove away. It looked so and it had pills in it. It looked so fucking sketchy.
Damn.
It's totally legit.
I think one of the things that stuck with me from this movie afterwards, at least, was kind of the messaging around like we all get older, we all have to slowly change our life and move on, right? Like some of the boys' times that we had when we were younger can't happen the same way anymore, but that doesn't mean that those times going forward need to be any less fun or any less cool. It's just that they're different, that we evolve as people, we get older, we have families, we have more life responsibilities. We have to find a way to still have that fun. Because for me, it being older, like I sometimes think of the old, the good old times with the boys, at these types of holidays and stuff. And look forward to birthdays and stuff less now. But I don't think that's the way it should be. I think that you should just find a way to kind of mature yourself and find ways to still enjoy life differently as it goes forward. So I thought that was kind of an interesting message, kind of sub message throughout the film. I agree with you though, Dean. I didn't think the like the storyline with the ex-girlfriend was all that impactful. They just didn't really dive into it all that much. Or they also didn't really dive into the fact that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's parents died, like other than the fact that he was sad, and that's the reason that they do this Christmas party every year. But they didn't really give any catharsis to that or any like emotional impact of change to that. He kind of just ran into his girlfriend at this party and realized he still likes her, and then decided to kind of suck it up and just make it work. Which I don't know. That landed a little flat, but it didn't feel like too much of a Christmas movie. I didn't think it was funny. I can see why Eddie liked it. I thought there were some really great parts, but it's not something that would become a Christmas classic for me all of a sudden. I think that now that I've seen it, I feel like I've seen it. It's funny to see guys like Anthony Mackie, though, who's now, Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, banging a girl in the bathroom at a bar here. And
that shit was hilarious.
Yeah. So pretty good. But what do you think, Marco?
Yeah, I think when the trailer for this first dropped, I was like, oh, this is going to be an all-timer, right? Like Seth Rogen is in some of my favorite films of all time. So I was like incredibly psyched for this. I don't recall if I knew about Anthony Mackie before, but these three being the lead, it was one that I had a lot of hype for. And then, watching it just kind of, I don't know, it is funny. It does have a nice message. It is an entertaining film, but all those pieces didn't necessarily come together for me as well as I thought, they would. And maybe that's a victim of expectations that are way too high, but I just thought that the movie was just okay. Like, it just really is not, it's not that funny. Like, some of the gags are like a little much, like, okay, like I get what they were going for, but it's just not, it's fallen a bit flat for me. Some of the lines were just like funny, but not like just dying. Some of the other movies, like let's say This Is the End, for me, that's a movie that had me in tears, versus this just kind of feels like, I don't know, written by committee with like, oh, to the lowest common denominator. That's just how it felt for me personally. So a film that I don't know that I would go back and watch again now, but it's fine. Like, if you'd never seen it before, definitely worth a watch. You'll have a good time, but definitely doesn't stand up to either, all-time comedies or all-time Christmas movies. It doesn't really have a place in either one of those categories.
There you go.
And I did like Jingle All the Way more, by the way. I would have rather watched that.
Next week is our Fans' Choice Movie of the Week. I need 3 movie nominations. We got the 4th one from Sam Gist for The Crow. They have to be streaming on Netflix Prime, preferably. I think those are more universal for all of us. So if you're in the chat and you want to nominate something, let us know. If we don't get any nominations, we'll just run with The Crow as the Fans' Choice. But Dean, let's say thank you to these sweet angels that keep the network going.
Sweet angels. Yeah, I'll give a quick shout out to Ian CB, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Valentrina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Giz, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, Six Guns, Figs, Bailey Badfish, Toy Cartel, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krett, Big Ol' Fern, Cesar Mariquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomaski, Rick Gregorio, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alad Morgan, Tu Cothry, Wah, Derek B, Aries Portillo, Alvin J, Arelis Delgado, Jazz Carroll, Joe Ridley, Pablo Mesa, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC 3PO, Scott Smith, Don Maton, Stephen Pridgett, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chiff Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton, last time of the year, Palmer. What a bunch of angels, right, Kevin? Aren't they sweet?
A bunch of angels indeed. We have the Just Another Friday Night sticker and the CW 300 sticker probably going on this week, next week, so stay tuned for that in your mailboxes. And we're going to work very soon on the January-December benefits. Patreon starts at $5 a month for the digital tier, $7.50 for the Sweet Angel, which is the first stickered tier, the Certified Crispy tier, the Figure Fix Assistance, and the What a Guide tier for doubles of all the stickers we send and the Pog Deluxe set. We also have a wonderful host of YouTube channel members: Absolute Irwin, Alvin J, Andrew Giebo, Benjamin Hansen, Big Ol' Fern, Bob Dylan, CC3PO, Chris V, CT603, DJ Daminator, Doc Smizzle, Equan, Fat Batman, Gare Bear, Good Ol' Spotchka, Gotham Cenobites, Justin Sports Cards, LV Avenger 702, Mark Pearson, Mike Litteris, Money Mendez, OG Fan, OMFG Rick, 16 Figure Focus, Paul Schreiber, Philip the Fool, S Beam, Sam Giss, Scarnlord, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Sunnyvale Russ, The Ben Thomas Show, and Toy Mafia. Thank you guys for supporting us there. You can support us on the channel membership for 99 cents if you're a Patreon member, or $2.99 if you are not. You get loyalty badges, custom emojis, and weekly shoutouts. We also have a TeePublic. We got some cool stuff on there. Be sure to check it out. I think they're on sale for the holidays, but plenty of cool different kinds of art that we have there, many of which drawn by Dean the Dream Martin. And taking a look at the network, we have a great network, but I think I don't know, it's always kind of that weird time, Dean, at the end of the year where you don't know which shows will go on, which shows will kind of cease to function. At the moment, I believe Question of the Week, likely live unboxing, I believe OFAC and Small Talk will be carried in next year, along with After Dark and CW. OxPD, it will just depend on Rockstar's upgrade cycle. Bricks and Brews, I believe, is also continuing. I am not sure how Live and Let Dice, if it will continue, unfortunately. But if you're a Dungeon Master and you might be interested in joining us, send me an email, zack@collectingweekly.com, because that show is, I think, sadly on the chopping block. But we will have to wait and see. But yeah, so let's see here. We got some suggestions, which I'm actually a big fan of what Badfish wrote, but let me make sure it is streaming. Let's see. That one's not streaming on free stuff, but I think we've all seen Shrek, or could easily get Shrek. So we got Shrek, we got LA Confidential, which is streaming on Plex for free, and The Crow. So let's run that as a quick vote here, and we'll let the fans decide. While I'm setting that up, do you guys have any shout-outs that you want to give?
I just want to shout out everybody. It's been a year. It's been a whole year. Felt like a year and a half, honestly. It's been a tough one.
Felt like 2 years.
But you guys join us every week, almost without fail, and we just really appreciate you guys, coming and hanging out with us or catching us on the replay, however you listen to us. A lot of you guys came down to visit us this year, which is amazing. Got to meet a lot of cool people. Wah and his wife, that was really cool. Taking them to the range and putting some bullets down range. That was so much fun. It was a tough year, but it was also a pretty good year in some aspects. Looking forward to next year and kicking some ass and providing a good show for you guys. And shout out to Marco and Ben for joining us every week as well, and Eddie. They got their own channels and their own lives, and they still carve out time for us, and we love that. So shout out to you guys. And yeah, I love you guys, everyone.
Love you too.
Well said, buddy. Well said.
Just sorry, before Ben gets into it, make sure to vote on you. I think we only got like 4 votes so far, but if you do want to vote for
Crow.
Fans' Choice Movie of the Week,
I've never seen The Crow.
Get that vote in, please.
I need a reason to buy the figure. Right? Horrible. Enabling myself. Happy New Year all to you guys coming up here as well. Happy Christmas, happy holidays to everybody who doesn't celebrate Christmas. For me, I did a thankful video this year around Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, because I truly felt thankful for everybody that I've had a chance to meet, friends that I've made, you guys here in the panel helping me get through a very, very tough personal year. This year wouldn't have been able to do that without the community, but also my friends here on the stream. And all the support that I've had with the Ben Thomas Show, the Let's Get Nuts podcast on Sundays. I think I've got about 18 different panelists now that I can cycle through every Sunday whenever I need some support, and somebody always is willing to put their hand up and say yes, they'll be there, which I've really, really appreciated. So to everybody that's done that, I'm 10 subscribers away from 2.7K. which is insane. In less than 2 years, it's an amazing amount of support that I've had from you guys, and I would not have been able to do that without being platformed here on Collecting Weekly every Tuesday, as well as some of the other streamers out there like Will Fox and some of those guys. So big shout out to all of you folks. I love you guys too, like Dean said, and Happy New Year if we don't see you sooner.
Yeah, just a shout out to everyone in the community. We've had our ups and downs this year. Really great community, though. What brings us together is collecting these figures, and I think we lose sight of that sometimes, but we've all got this common hobby that in the real world, we don't know a lot of people that do this type of stuff, right? This is what brings us online to make friends. So feeling really appreciative that I've been able to, blessed to be able to stay in this hobby and to make some friends along the way. And I will just say shout out to my beautiful significant other, Gigi. She's a really kind, giving person. And so we adopted another few families this year like we do every year. I'm not trying to take any credit for this because this is 100% something that, she's been doing her entire life that, the generosity it's not my strongest suit. And I think as collectors, we tend to be sometimes a little more selfish. Like, okay, my money is for me to spend on my hobby. And so to break us outside of that is tough. But so delivered some of these gifts to one of the families today, and they're incredibly appreciative. They don't know that they're coming from us directly. They think that, it's coming from another organization, but, to see, folks that are just want sometimes some basics, but to be able to gift them like a pretty awesome, like Marvel Comics, book and say, okay, I'm hoping that will inspire them to be curious and to read more and to get into this nerdy type of stuff if they weren't already. So yeah, so all that being said, it's not too late to look into ways to give back and maybe be inspired by what Gigi does and thinking about others every now and then.
There you go. Looks like Shrek has won the fans' choice vote of the movie of the week, so we'll be doing that. Bather says, great sentiment, Marco. I'm trying to donate stuff each year I was going to sell. Very cool.
Awesome.
To answer the network chat, Dean, I think you had mentioned that we want to run episode 200 when we're all there. So I think tomorrow for After Dark it will be a rerun, and then we'll catch you guys.
You are correct.
It's also just a better way for us so that next week can be a real big celebration because we'll have episode 300 next week. We'll have episode 200 of After Dark, so it'll be 2 big milestones back to back. So tomorrow you guys either may get a rerun or it'll just be nothing. I'm going to be out of pocket pretty much all day tomorrow. I'll just be sad all day, but I'm not planning to really be reachable tomorrow. So
okay, so really quick side note there to out of pocket. So I was ragging on Zach a couple weeks ago because I've never heard anybody say they're out of pocket when they're unavailable. To me, that means like you're out money. Like,
that is a meaning of it.
I took somebody to the fair. They forgot their wallet, so I was out of pocket by $10.
There's one more definition too, Ben. Have you heard this other one?
I don't know if I've heard this other one, but I will say. Go ahead. No, you finish. You do.
Like, sometimes Eddie will say off the wall stuff that's like inappropriate.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you're out of pocket.
Out of pocket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've never heard of this other than my way of saying out of being out of money. And I made fun of Zach for like a good hour and a half. I then unplug from social media. I smoke a joint. I go and sit down. I turn on one of my favorite shows of all time now, which is becoming the For All Mankind show. Really great show. Slow burn, but if you like space science and some kind of futuristic what ifs of humanity, I think you'd love the show. And that exact episode, one of the characters says he's going to be out of pocket for a period of time and unavailable. And it blew me away. I literally sent Zach a recorded screenshot and was like, what? What are the chances? Same freaking day. So I guess
that was really popular saying. Someone said it.
There's one more definition. Like if something is in your pocket and then it, isn't anymore, that's also out of your pocket. So
like your cock.
I like pocket pool better.
Well, my cock isn't in my... It doesn't reach that far. Maybe Ben's does.
Well,
my cock doesn't fall out of anything. Are you kidding me? Fall is not the right word.
Anyways, on that note, I'll be out of pocket next week.
So we will. I don't know. I don't know about D&D. We'll have to see. There's a lot of options on the table, and none of them are particularly good. So, I might be a little absent this week, but Happy New Year to everyone. It was so nice. I'm the worst. I am the worst texter, and so many people told me Merry Christmas, and very few I sent that message first. If that makes sense. I'm usually the person that gets the Merry Christmases. I'm just a bad texter, so I want to thank everyone that wished me a Merry Christmas publicly or privately. And yeah, hug your families, guys. Shit changes real quick, so we love you guys. And yeah, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
And I'm Ben.
Catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.